Welcome back to the Magic of Strategy, where we dive into smart moves that help small businesses thrive. I'm your host, Karen Hewitt, and today we're going to talk about a topic that is often overlooked, but it is so incredibly powerful. Have you ever considered gratitude as a business strategy? Joining me today is Donna Sylvester. She's the brilliant mind behind the Gratitude Puzzle, a business that turns personalized cards into powerful tools for follow up, lead generation, and even customer retention. Have you ever wondered, like, how can a simple thank you card grow your business, build trust, or even convert leads? Well, I think you're going to love this conversation. And Donna is here to show us how thoughtful communication can be an absolute game changer. So let's jump in. Hey, Donna, welcome to the Magic of Strategy. Let's start off with, can you tell me a little bit more about your story and the story behind the gratitude puzzle? Where was the inspiration born from?
Thanks for having me on, Karen. First off, it's really great to be here and get an opportunity to talk about strategy. I love strategy. I would say I'm a strategist. So gratitude is just such an important concept, and it's a concept that not everybody's entirely comfortable with. Like if you ask anybody that you bump into, what do you think of when you think of gratitude? You get 100 different answers. And in business, often people will say to me, I can't even think of 10 people I would say thank you to, which is just incredible to me. So the gratitude puzzle is really about solving that puzzle of who do we say thank you to and how do we say it? How do we make thank you a very integral part of our business life? Well, really our daily life, because we should say thank you in life as well. How do we make it easy and efficient and impactful? Do it in a way that's meaningful to the people that are receiving your gratitude. So that's what the gratitude puzzle is about, is how to be in gratitude yourself and how to effectively express that to those that you're grateful for.
Yeah, I see that. I hear a lot that people will say, yeah, oh, I said thank you for them buying something. And then that's the end of the conversation because, oh, they made a purchase, and it goes away. Why do you think that gratitude is so underused in business?
That's really a good question. I think most people don't fully understand the power of gratitude. Gratitude is really associated with abundance. So the more you focus on what you appreciate, the more what you appreciate appreciates. And so if you've got a customer group that you would like to build a community around and generate sales and additional referrals from them, you really need to reach out and let them know that you appreciate them. Well, that's in the mind of most people a little bit of a time-consuming process. They're like, well, how do I do that? Can I just do that on social media? That's fast. How do I create a meaningful thank you? And where do I find the time in my busy schedule to do that? So I've found some resources that make it easy to create a very impactful and a very meaningful touch and do it in a way that's fast, fun, efficient, and generates quite an impact with the people who receive it.
So I'm actually going to give you something that I discovered because the reason I asked Donna to be here is because I've been using her services. She referred me to these customized ways to give gratitude. And I sent some cards out to people on my team recently. And I'm telling you, the impact it's had. I had one, they were crying happy tears. They felt really appreciated and they shouted it out for everyone, like, look at what happened. And it was how that made them feel. And I think that card probably took me less than 5 minutes to do. But the impact that really like showed up, which I think is something that we're missing with business and gratitude right now because we're not making as much of an impact. We say thank you, and that's the end of the story. So I just gave it a little bit of an example of how I've used it, but how do you find that these personalized cards can be used strategically in business? Give me some examples of how this works.
So I really appreciate that you tried it out and that you've gotten such a good response to it. That's really pretty common response is people love the cards, but what they love about it is the personal touch. So when you ask, what is the strategy behind what I do? It's building a personal connection with somebody, learning enough about my customer, my um, referral partner to know what's important to them, and then acknowledging in a very personal way those things about them. So maybe it's congratulating them on getting a child through college, or maybe it's congratulating them on having their first grandchild, or it's congratulating them on getting a new puppy. So those kind of personal connections, if we can make them um, meaningful to the person that's receiving them, the impact is just as you described. People will frame the cards I sent them. They show them to their neighbors. Imagine getting a congratulations on getting your son through college card from your realtor. I mean, what realtor does that? And so you're going to take that card and you're going to show it to your next door neighbor and say, oh my gosh, look what my realtor sent me. So the number one way, the number one strategy in this world where social media is such a powerful tool, but in terms of building a really personal connection with somebody, if you can find a picture or a topic that's really meaningful to them and acknowledge that in a written, printed card, that's really powerful. And so that personal connection is the number one strategy for building the kind of relationship with a customer or a referral partner that's going to lead to more business for you.
Absolutely. And when I was playing with it, I saw how I could set up cards to go out automatically. So I think this is a great business strategy. But if I get a customer and it's something that needs to be renewed, because some of us have renewable customer bases where there's a product needs to be replaced, or they need to come back at a certain time for a service, or they need to know things need to be done at certain times. I can add them to that list and the cards will automatically go out and I don't even have to think about it anymore. And I know my client is getting these referrals in that timely manner that I don't have to go, oh my gosh, did they do this? I've already sent them the reminder. It's not on my plate anymore. So that saves me so much time and energy.
That's a great observation. And we really, these cards do give you a way to be both high touch and high tech. So we have several systems that will allow you to set it and forget it. So, for example, my realtors, when they sell a home, they'll have a 5 card campaign that goes out over the first year that that homeowner's been in their home. And so there's a structure to it. They create the cards in advance, and then when they sell the home, they come back and say, send out the 2025 new home buyer campaign to Donna, and I get 5 cards from that realtor. 2 of them have a gift over the next year, and the hope would be that that will generate additional referrals during that period of time. So if you think about it, there are people who have a long sales cycle, like real estate, um, automobile sales, boat sales, insurance kinds of things where you buy it once and you buy a house today, you're not going to buy another house tomorrow, most likely. It's going to be several years. And the challenge for the realtor or the car salesperson is to not only stay in touch with you over that period, but to make that touch personal such that you remember them without them having to be constantly in your mind. You want to make yourself memorable to that person. So when their neighbor says, we've been thinking about putting our house on the market, you say to them, oh my gosh, you need to call my friend and she'll help you out. So you're right. We have a lot of technology. You can schedule birthdays in advance. You can do drip campaigns. You can segment your database into groups. Like you could have your A clients, B clients, C clients, and set cards up in advance to go out to each of the subgroups that you have in your database. And you could set them to go out quarterly. So there's a lot of technology that allows you to scale the touch points that you're using.
I think a couple of things I want to pick up on what you said there because I think they're really important. It was, hey, you want to talk to my friend about the real estate. And I think that's what that personal touch does. It takes it from being just, oh, well, it's a real estate agent to they feel more like a friend. They feel more trustworthy. It comes into that inner circle because they are being there without being obnoxious. We're not asking people to call the person they sold a house to every week to say, hi, how are you doing? Do you still like the house? You're sending them a very easy, simple card that they open in the mail and go, oh yeah, look, oh yeah, that's right. We do need to do that right now. Or, oh, I'm so glad they thought of us. It's not as invasive and it's soft and it does increase that friendship level.
That's a great way to look at it in that, for example, one of the cards in that campaign might be thinking of you. Here's a Starbucks coupon. Go have a cup of coffee and plan your next vacation.
Mhm.
So, you know, it's a very soft marketing approach. It's marketing that doesn't feel like marketing. I'm sending them a Starbucks coupon and prompting them to think about their next vacation. I'm not asking them to think about buying a house. I'm not asking them to think about who they know that needs a house. I'm I'm sending a card that's about them. And in that process, I'm in their mind. I'm occupying space in their head. And sometimes when I put a really cute picture on the card, I'll occupy space on their refrigerator because they will post that card on their refrigerator. They'll, put it up there with a magnet. If I send a really cute picture of their dog or their children or their new house or their new boat, it's most likely going to go on their refrigerator, and they'll think of me every time they open the refrigerator.
And you're right. It is such a nice soft sell because what most people don't realize is a huge portion of your business comes from referrals. I don't care how much advertising you do. I don't care how much marketing you do. I don't care how many podcasts you get and how many new magazines you're in. All that. Yes, that is a huge portion of business is about lead generation. But the easiest leads that you can generate to close are that of a referral of a very happy client. And if you can close the referral of a very happy client who's already sang your praises to this new person, your chance of closing the lead has just gone up so much. It's just really increased.
I can give you a really great story about that. So,
Yeah.
you know how often salespeople will send out calendars? They might be football schedules, or at the end of the year, they might send the next year's calendar out. So I saw a calendar in a friend's house, and it was from a realtor. And so I asked her about the realtor, and I said, so tell me about this realtor that sent you this calendar. And the answer was, I don't know her. She sends me that calendar every year, but I don't really know her. And I said, well, if you were going to sell your house, would you call her? And the answer was, well, no, because I don't know her. And
Mm.
so it was such an insight for me to realize I'm guessing that calendar was probably $5, $7 for the calendar. And that's a big effort on the part of that realtor, but she has not built a connection with the person that she's sending it to. And so the people who send out promotional calendars and coffee cups and pens and things like that to be top of mind, but don't take the time to build a personal relationship with that person, are not as likely to get the additional sales and referrals that they hope for.
And for that price of that calendar, that's the price of 3 or 4 touch points with the cards.
Oh my
That's
goodness,
three of
yes.
yeah, it's 3 or 4 touch points instead of one that kind of happens to hang up on the wall. And like you said, pick a cute enough image or something that resonates, they'll be on the fridge and it becomes a story point. Now, the other thing I wanted to bring up that you brought up, and I think this is something that isn't spoken about enough with this product or this line, is you said gifts, and then you brought up the Starbucks. So there's actually a gift version with it. And I do know this as well because uh, you sent me a gift through this for my birthday, which was and again, we're constantly talking. I mean, like, this is how this soft marketing sale works. If someone wants to know about this, I'm gonna, oh, you should talk to my friend Donna. Like my friend Donna knows all about this, and because it becomes front of mind. So tell me a little bit more about the gifts and how that can be impacted.
The gifts are really important, and we have quite a large gift store with everything from Starbucks cards to coffee mugs, books. I have a solar client who we have a little solar flower that waves in the sun and has a big smile. And what a cute gift for a solar client to send out to their customers. And so, you know, I would suggest to people, especially when they've gotten a big referral or a significant sale, that a gift is a really appropriate thing to do. And it it's easy with us because you create a card and you go to the gift store and say, add this gift to the card, and the gift goes out with the card. Now, I think that I have one customer in Colorado who is a roofing customer, and they send a card with 2 brownies or 4 brownies, depending on the size of the family. They send a card with brownies to everyone they do a roof for, and their business has tripled.
because of that soft sell, that referral. And I think this is the other thing is a lot of people, and I'm a little bit woo. And when I say I'm a little bit woo, this is all about strategy and how strategy was sold, because I like to put people first and humans first. It's not just about systems and automations. It's about how can we really lead into still having that connection and those people first and those moments of humanity. Some businesses, when I talk to them, they feel uncomfortable with that human element because they don't feel like it's duplicatable. Or they're like, well, that's so much work to have that human element. What would you say? How would you say this helps with that aspect of it to give them that personalized touch without taking all the time in the world?
My thought would be that when you have made your message simple and from your heart, it's well received. It could be very, very simple. So just yesterday, I was talking with a customer who had some cards that they needed to use before the expiration date, before the end of the month. And so there was a little brainstorming session about how to use those cards. And what we suggested to her was that she has 50 cards to use, is that she take the top 50 people in their database, the people who've been there the longest, and just send them a very simple thank you card that said, "We appreciate the fact that you've done business with us." Very simple. And it comes at an unexpected time. It's not a birthday card, it's not a holiday card. It's just kind of an unexpected time to receive a card from someone you've done business with. And it is a very simple card. Just thank you so much for being a part of our business world. So, for the people that I bump into that have trouble, a lot of what they have trouble with is, what do I say? And it can be really simple. Thank you for doing business with us. Or we even have a little 3-step process that I use where I appreciate something. So my message has 3 parts. I appreciate something, I compliment them, and I ask them to connect. And sometimes, if it's a message I'm struggling with, I might even use AI to help me draft the message, to give me some ideas about what I might include in the message. So I think if you make your message simple and very just heartfelt, it will be received very well. The biggest challenge to doing that, and the biggest error that people make, is by making the message all about them. Here's what I can do for you. Here's how good I am. Here's all of the things that we offer. Here's the 6 more things that you could do with us that you haven't done already. And I would tell you that's the number one concept that makes the card um, feel really good to the person who receives it, is if the card is about them and your appreciation of them, and not about you and what you are able to do for them.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And like you said, it can be simple as thank you.
We don't
It's
say that
not,
enough. We just don't say it
no.
enough.
I was reading an article the other day and it was like all these people that we don't recognize are there to say thank you, like garbage collectors. We don't say thank you to them. They turn up, they take the trash and they go away. It's like, but that's a hard job and they're doing it. Or mail deliverers. Or sometimes I mean, we say thank you to teachers at schools like one day a year, oh, well, it's Teacher Appreciation Week, but it's not okay. They may have had a hard week 6 months earlier and we don't acknowledge that. or the lady that helps the kids cross the road. There's just so many people out there. They're just a quick, hey, good job, thank you, would turn their entire day around.
So that's a real strategy right there, is a lot of businesses, when they're talking about their strategy for saying thank you, all they want to do is think about their customers. But really, if you're a realtor, an insurance person, a financial advisor, an auto sales person, everybody in your sphere needs to have you in their mind. They need to know what you do. And so what you want to do is have a footprint in your sphere of being a person who appreciates, celebrates, acknowledges, and thanks people for all kinds of things. You gave some great examples. Like I'm part of an RV park here, and at least 2 or 3 times a year, I give a brownie card to the rangers that staff the front gate. I'm sure that they don't get thanked very much. And, it's just part of having a footprint of gratitude, and that footprint of gratitude, that energy flows back to me. When I put that gratitude out, it flows back to me. So, it's really the best strategy is moment by moment to be thankful and to look for opportunities to let other people know how much you appreciate them.
I may be misquoting this, but I do believe it was Maya Angelou that said that it's not about how what you said, it's about how you made them feel. And if you can make people in your circle feel a certain kind of way, either whichever way you make it is going to cause an impact. If you make them feel like you don't know that they're there, well, then they're not going to do anything to, refer to you or grow with you. If you make them feel like they're not worthy of the time or energy or that you don't care, well, then they're going to go out of the way to make sure that they don't mention you. But if you just make them feel like they are special for themselves, that they mean something, that they are contributing, that you see them, well, when someone makes someone feels like that, they are going to go out of the way to tell everyone they know about the person that made them feel that.
And they may even go the extra mile for you, you know?
Mhm.
Um, and really the strategy underlying all of that is make it genuine. So when I give those brownie cards to the rangers, I genuinely appreciate that they are at the gate in the rain and the heat of the summer, and that I'm not giving it to them to get something back from them. I genuinely appreciate them. And when you give from that place of genuine appreciation, whether it's just a card or a card and a gift, um, it that energy flows through and the person receives that energy. And I look at the barista at Starbucks that you see every single day who just is in chaos most of the morning. To get a thank you card from somebody that she serves every day, you just don't know when it might turn her life around. She might be having a bad day when she gets your card, and it might truly turn her day around.
So I think the moral to that part is, how do you want to be known as a business owner? I mean, I don't know about you, but my business is my life. My business is my kids are my life. My kids are everything. My kids are like number one, absolutely top of the chart. Nothing else will take away. But the business I have is a huge part of my life because it's the legacy and it's how I create this functionality for my family, for my children, to give them the things that they need and want. And I don't want to be just known as, oh, well, she's running a business. Yeah, she's taking checks and doing this, and yeah, she just does what she needs to do. Because it's not like I'm working a job. Because I think when you're working a job, a 9 to 5, you clock in, you clock out. The emotional attachment isn't there as much when you do that, unless it's your dream job, and that's a different story. But I think the majority of people, it's a clock in, clock out, and I'm done. When it's your business, it becomes almost like another child of yours. And it's when I think, well, how do I want my kids to be seen in this world? Some of the first things that come into my mind, it's not like rich, powerful, successful. I want them to be seen as kind, caring, considerate, human, good humans. I want them to be seen as trustworthy. And yes, do I want my kids to be, yes, I want my kids to be successful, but I don't care if they're successful because they come the world's leading neurosurgeon, or they're just the kid that makes the best cookies for the kids on the success is different for everyone. But it's how do you want to be seen? Do you want to be seen as someone who cares about that circle, or just someone who's there to just get a job done and be gone? And you've got to put yourself there. Now, I think the next piece of this is because when I'm looking at, I've played with many companies that send cards, send gifts, send this, send that. And I pick a picture that's on the thing, and then I get to write in the card and send it. And that's about the level of customability I have, unless I pick a card, design it, and then print it, and then they send me 100 of the cards, then I write them out, and then I ship them out with letter. How customizable? How much can people brand this to themselves? How customizable are these cards?
The cards that we have, the cards that I use, are every single element of the card is customizable, from the color of the font that you use to the style of the font, how many pictures you put in the card, the color of the panel that you put the writing on. It's 100% customizable, and we have a number of formats. So we have everything from a one panel flat card, like might be a graduation invitation, all the way up to an 8x10 card that you might use if somebody has a really big family event, like a birth or a graduation, and they got lots of pictures. So we have an 8x10 card. And we have the ability to have that card delivered digitally. So if you want the message to get there fast, or if you want the message to go someplace a printed card cannot, like for example, somebody that's in the hospital, or somebody that's in Australia for 2 months and they don't have an address over there. We have a digital card that can go by text, email, WhatsApp, that sort of thing. And that text card or that digital card can be converted to a print card so that I can send the message fast and I can follow it up with a print card that arrives at their home mailing address. So between the kinds of cards we have, digital or print, digital and print, and the formats of cards we have, from postcards all the way up to 8x10, and then we have one at a time cards, or we have technology that allows you to schedule them, put them in drip campaigns, send them out to large groups, create them as a template, print them in bulk. Just last night, I created a card for a vendor event that I'm going to do next week, and I ordered 100 copies of it. So I cannot imagine any way that you could customize a card that we don't have.
I love that. And like I said, I've been playing with this system as well. I can even use hex codes for my brand colorings to put them in. And if I'm going to use a card that I just want to change a single picture on for different people, like if it's a thank you card for a product sale or anything like that, I can create the card and have that saved in like my own personal catalog. So I can pick on that and just send that out as well and just change one picture, one name and be done. The other thing that I have to say that I like about this, how you just said, digital cards, someone's in the hospital, someone's overseas. There are countries where people can't get mail unless it's a package, they can't get a letter. They can't do what I also know is because I'm from the UK. Sorry if you didn't realize it, you couldn't tell by my accent. I'm originally from another country. I am living in the United States. I've been here for over 2 decades, but I still have an accent. For me to go and find a card, write the card, mail the card, send the card. It takes a long time. Plus, it costs me anywhere from $3 to $5 to send the card. That's not just buying the card. I've noticed with this, if I want to send a card back home to the UK, I just pay additional $1, and it's all customized, and they take care of everything. And if I was to send a card here, physical card, I don't pay any postage because that's already everything's built in. I'm not getting surprises. I'm not getting, oh, well, now you owe us this much in postage, or now you owe us this much here, or well, you need to pay this. And if I wanted to get additional cards, there's ways to do that. And everything is laid out pretty easy to understand. So it's very budget friendly, it's very creatable, and you can do all these different things. My thought is here is it kind of reminds me a little bit of that old school. I'm calling it old school. Please, no one yell at me. Old school mentality. It's that handshake deal that you knew you would go to this particular store because so and so ran the store and you knew their family and you knew them. And it created this bond of loyalty, which I think we've gone from that kind of loyalty to, well, we have raving fans because social media. There are some people that will always follow a particular influencer for some reason because they're absolutely sold on their systems and that. But then there's that, it's like a bond. And this really leans into that old school bond without me having to drive 6 hours to go shake someone's hand. And it makes me think that a lot of business owners may be making, I'm going to say it, I'm going to be mean. Okay, don't come for me, don't cancel me. Some of you screwing up. You're making mistakes because you're not incorporating gratitude into your marketing plan. And what are some of the biggest things that you're seeing out in the industry where it could be hurting business owners not to have that gratitude basis for their marketing as well? What are some of the mistakes?
One of the statistics that I've seen is that 68% of people who leave the business because they feel unseen. They're just another account or just another number. And if you think about it, think about who you pay hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars to, maybe an insurance company, maybe a dentist, maybe the person that sold you the car that you don't hear from them at all. You just I spend thousands of dollars with my insurance company and the only thing I ever get's a bill. So imagine the difference if I got something from them that was personal to me, that made me know that they knew who I was and what was going on in my life. Um, you could even say that about employee appreciation. In this day and age, retention is so important. And so I talk to companies all the time about, how are you paying attention to your employees? How are you making your employees feel special? Are you remembering their birthdays? Are you acknowledging the events that happen in their life? A new baby, a mom who's in the hospital, a child who's graduating from high school. Do you do those kinds of things? And I just think it in this world today, we're very disconnected. It's just it's just the world we live in. In spite of all the ways we could be connected, we actually are pretty disconnected from each other. And so the business and the individual who takes time to connect on a personal basis is going to really stand out in their community. Um, for sure.
Yeah, you just made me think of the old joke. Everyone says this joke. I've seen this joke going around now for several years. It's like employees don't want a pizza party. They don't want pizza just dropped to the break room on a Friday because that doesn't make them feel appreciated. And the thought of that is, pay your employees more. But the same thing, sometimes you are a small business owner and sometimes you're paying them a really decent wage for what they do. I mean, let's be real. Some of us, we're not jerks. We do pay people a fair, livable wage, but we still want to do something to make them feel like we appreciate them. And a pizza thrown in the break room is not it because you didn't think about it. What if one of them's gluten free? One of them's lactose intolerant? But a card just to say, hey, we know it's your birthday. Happy birthday. By the way, here's a brownie, or here's a Starbucks card, or here's a caramel, which is what you got me for my birthday. Little things like that. It doesn't cost you a lot. And the employee goes, they knew it was my birthday. They remembered. Oh, I guess I am important here. Because we don't think people know that stuff. I know I get surprised when someone says, "Oh, it was your birthday," and it's like, "Yeah, what? Oh, you knew that? Oh, it's that moment of like bringing it together. So it's not just about your customers; it's about your team. How can you make your team feel like you see them? Now, we've kind of seen, like, I think gratitude marketing used to be huge. Go back a couple of decades. It was how businesses were built. It was how they grew. It was how they thrived. It was not about automation. It was not about, there was systems to it, but it was all about gratitude, building communities, giving people what they need. And we've come away from that. And this is a way to bring us back. What do you see? How will gratitude marketing and expressing this and showcasing this help businesses grow in the future?
Gosh, I'm just going to go back to what I said a minute ago. Um, I don't think anyone would disagree that the world needs more kindness. You know, there's just lots of meanness out there. There's lots of misbehavior. There's lots of people out there doing things that some of us look at and think, how could you do that? You know, marking up people's businesses and, just raising havoc. And I think most people don't realize that when I take a step in gratitude, it affects the energy in the world. And so I can't control all those people out there doing whatever they do. What I can control is the energy footprint I put out. And so, how will gratitude affect the future? It would be as we do our little piece of making the world a kinder place. I think that it will make a difference in our lives as well as a difference in our businesses. And I think if I could say one thing to people about doing that is I think most people think, well, I don't have time to do that. I don't know, you know, they may imagine that they've got to have a block of time to send a card. And really, of all the things people could do, it probably takes maybe 5 or 10 minutes to put a fully customized card together. And if you take that 5 or 10 minutes to recognize somebody, that act of gratitude is going to make a difference in the world, even if you don't immediately notice it. The more of us that put that energy together, we could create our own little tipping point. That I bet you've read that book about the tipping point. So maybe that's how gratitude will work in the future is by creating that tipping point that helps make the world a kinder place.
And it's also, if you're known as the business owner that takes the time to acknowledge people, yeah, 5 to 10 minutes to create a card. Okay, great. What if you create a card that can be repeated, like the catalog I have? It's like I can just change a picture and change a name, and that's less than a minute. But people feel that, and then when it comes down to, well, who did you use for this? The first thing they'll say is, oh, did you know about this? I just heard from so and so. They sent me a card for my birthday, but they really helped me when they did my roof 10 months ago. It's easier to remember them for something they did and keep them top of mind. So, do you want to be top of mind? And not because you went viral because you did something funny, but because people remember how you make them feel. Because
That's what's crucial is how you made them feel.
if you make them feel like this way, that you made them feel that they mattered and they made a difference in your life, guess what? They're going to remember that feeling sits with them. And it's much nicer than having someone feel like, well, yeah, they did the job. They did the job well. No, I have no problems with how they did whatever they did for me. It was great. It was perfect. But that's where the feeling stops. You can be the best in the world at what you do, but if you don't work on how you make people feel for what you do, they're not going to remember you because you did the job, you did it well, and now they move on. But you did the job, you did it well, and you do these little tiny touch points. And I think there was a study, 17 touch points is what it takes on average for people to close a deal. But it's also could be used for that 17 touch points is a great way to get referrals. That 17 touch points is a great way to make a movement. That 17 touch points is a really great way to keep your name alive in people's voices.
So you made
So
me
you
think of something
okay?
when you were talking about how people stand out. You could be the best at what you do, but if you don't make an impression on person, they don't remember you. Well, in this day and age where people can go on the internet and they can pull up a business and they can find who offers the best price and who has the most products. I mean, the consumer today has so many options to shop around for what they're looking for that the number one thing a business really has to do today is stand out because you have all of this competition around you that's now visible to the consumer who doesn't feel loyal to you because you didn't do anything to generate that loyalty. And I can think of businesses in my own world that I don't really fact, I'm getting ready to shop for an RV, and the people I bought this one from have maintained no connection with me. I don't feel any loyalty to them at all. I'm gonna find the best next RV that I can, and if it's with them, fine. But they're not necessarily getting my business because they've built no connection with me at all.
And if they build that connection, you would be willing to, okay, no, they've really treated me well. I'm going to go back and see what.
Right,
And looking around for other companies wouldn't be first on your mind. Does
right.
it stop you from looking at other? No, it doesn't stop you from looking at other companies, but it reduces that a great deal because you know how you were made to feel, you know how you were treated, and the fact that they cared. So yeah, you're going to go back to them. You would absolutely. I can even give you we have moved so many times. And my youngest, he has a lot of therapies, including physical therapy, occupational speech, all this kind of stuff. He's been in therapy of one kind of another physical since he was 3 months old. And he just turned 8. No, no, he just turned 7. He's going to turn 8. Oh, that boy keeps me in mind. Even if I had to travel for several months, we had to travel 2 hours by car to get to. We have stayed with the same therapy center for him because of the way his physical therapist makes him feel and how she works with him and how she has developed that relationship and continually checked on him, checks on his other appointments, all these things, how she's made us feel. There's tons of physical therapy places for kids, tons. We could have quite easily, well, that one's 10 minutes away from the house. I don't have to drive 45 minutes. No,
That's
we
a
still
great
drive.
example. Yeah.
We drive because of how what she did and how she makes him feel and how she looks after him. So stand out and do these things. I think that is fantastic. Just a couple of last questions, Donna, before we wrap up. I want to know, what was your biggest moment in this industry? What was that moment that made you go, yes, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is my thing.
I don't know that it was one moment as much as it was the experience of being able to be myself in a card. Like, I really I'm not a stuffy, person. I'm a comic. I love to make people laugh, and there are not very many marketing mediums that allow you to do that. And so one of the things I love about these cards is I can be myself, I can be my casual self. I can send funny pictures of me doing weird things like rappelling down buildings. Um, and the people that get them call me up and say, "Oh my gosh, Donna, I got your card. I laughed so hard when I got your card." So I feel like when I make somebody smile or laugh, I've touched them in a way that makes me memorable. And so that's what I say to my business people is maybe making people laugh is not your shtick, but whatever is, whatever your hobby is, whatever it might be your kids, like you, Karen, with your 5 kids, if you can put a slice of yourself into the card so that I think people like to get to know us as more than just my realtor hat or my insurance hat or my financial hat. I think they like to know who's under the hat. And then when they get who's under the hat, they respond to that. And so that really makes, I mean, I send cards all the time, but the ones that are my favorites are the ones that cause somebody to call me and tell me how much they laughed, or smiled, or sometimes on occasion it's how much they cried. And I just know that I've really touched somebody's life when I get that kind of response.
I'm just gonna really go here from like a very personal place. Is I've known Donna now for several months. We got introduced to each other and we hit it off pretty much straight away. It was fun conversations. We've laughed, we've joked, we've cried, and I've really got to know Donna as the amazing human that she is. And I tell you that she truly does put her soul into this. It's not an exaggeration. It is not just a one of those things you say. I could grab cats. Hmm, Let me. So I could grab cards. And literally right now, I just grabbed cards that I have because Donna has sent them to me. and it's like, today's forecast, 100% chance of success. And it's just one of these like really positive, like, oh my gosh, it makes you feel good. Yes. And again, it's a poem. And these are all things that it's this connection, and it's this piece. And I could go online now and I could find 100 people, digital graphic design artists, other people that have aligned with how you have aligned. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to come back to Donna, because it's this human element and it's this personal element, and I've watched her brainstorm with people to see how they can impact the business, how they can grow the business, how they can show this gratitude. And I don't think I can think of anyone else who has that amount of skin in the game that other people are showing up with. So yeah, it's definitely having a slice of her, and it's definitely how she impacts you and builds that. If I was to ask you one final question to all the listeners right now, everyone who's listening to this, what is one little thing that they could do this very second to implement gratitude into their business? Just give us all an action item, a prompting.
Okay. So, one of the things I work on is helping people tune into their inner voice and respond to it. And so what I would say is take a minute and ask yourself, who needs to hear from me today? And then whoever comes to your mind, don't question it, just whoever comes to your mind, reach out and connect with them. It could be a text, it could be a phone call, it could be a drop-in visit, but you never know why that person was put in your mind. And the fact that you connect with them when that person comes to your attention could be crucial to their day. Um, I actually got a message today from someone who sent a card to a nephew. The nephew died just recently, and in the process of the family interaction, she was told how much that card meant to him. You never know what the card or the message, since you're asking for something people can do right away, the message, your phone call, your visit can mean to somebody. We just don't know. So ask yourself, who needs to hear from me today, and then act on it. That would be my assignment.
I love that. Now, I am going to quite quickly squash one of the biggest things that I think people underestimate with this organization, this business, the gratitude puzzle is everyone thinks that going customized and individualized and all this level of customization and effort and extra stuff is very expensive. I'm going to tell you right now, because I've looked at everything. I signed up for a plan. Donna is my consultant. She's my guide in this. She helps me do these things. But as of last, I think it was like, wasn't it April in 2025 last month that it was launched? This plan's starting from just $10 a month for you to have an impact. And the plans range depending on how much of an impact or how many cards, digital, physical, all these different things that you want to do. And so there's a plan available for everyone just to be able to grow their business with gratitude. If they wanted to connect with you and figure out what they needed to do or the best way to do it or how to get started, what is the best way for them to connect with you, Donna?
The best way to connect with me would be text. I'm just on Zoom all the time, and so text is actually best. And if they would be willing to text me, you can feel free to give them my phone number. If they'd be willing to text me, I'll send them a digital card, and then they can see exactly what it's like.
Awesome. And I will put your phone number into the show notes. And you can also go to her website, thegratitudepuzzle.com. She is on social medias as the Gratitude Puzzle. And I know there's a lot of things like promptings. You share a lot of your life and a lot of fun things you do and the things that make you stand out and different. So we definitely want to encourage you to do that to see how this can benefit you. Donna, I just want to thank you so much for joining us today. And you shared so many heart-centered, and the thing, it wasn't just heart-centered, it was practical. It was actually step-by-step strategic things that can be done to help grow your business, your leads, and stay top of mind. Your work with the gratitude puzzle, what it reminds us of is that meaningful connections, they're not just meaningful connections, they're powerful tools both in life and in business. So thank you so much, Donna. Now, to our listeners, if you're looking for that creative, authentic way to stand out, stay memorable, and build loyalty, I want you to take a moment and think about how can you lead this with gratitude. If you've enjoyed this episode, leave a review, share it with a fellow entrepreneur, and of course, subscribe for more strategies that you can actually use. We don't just throw things on the wall that are not usable. These are stuff that you can put into action today. So until next time, I'm Karen Hewitt, and this has been The Magic of Strategy, where strategy meets heart.
Thank you so much, Karen.